So, Aburu, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. We have been discussing several ODs over the last couple of weeks. We've had Owarren Wese, we've had Owarren Olobara, we've had, before that, I think we had Oyeku Turapong. We've had these different ODs that tell us about water. And so being from a water lineage, being from an Oshun lineage, right? We utilize water in our practice, right? We use it to refreshing or bring life to the energies, right? We consume it, we pray into it, we understand the different uses, the different aspects of it. We even talked about it in Ejiogbe. So all this to do about water when we are 3/4 water, right? When we open up and when we begin to open up in the future, there's different things, right? When we open up the oracle, there's different attributes that we give to Ifa based on water. So what are some of the properties of water? Adesokan. Okay. Egbe Funke.
Can you hear me?
Yes. I think so.
What's the question, Logan?
What are some of the properties that we learned in the last couple of weeks about water?
It's like cleansing or bringing about change, bringing about children. And yeah.
Ashe. Adiola. Oburoboye.
Water brings coolness, and also water turns from vapor into a more how do I say it? like a substance. So it represents also blessings materializing.
Very good. Both of you, very good. Ifarike.
Aburo Boye Boshishe Baba.
Ogbuato. Asuri Iwori Wofon. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm good.
Ashe. Can you tell us some of the properties of water that we've learned in the last couple of weeks?
Properties of water. I mean, I know that water, again, cleanses and purifies. So I guess the answer is no, I can't add anything that has already been said.
See, we're going to for this class, for this temple. So, Ashe, and Owarren Weste, water does both, right? It removes, right? It carries our prayers away. It removes challenges, but it also brings blessing. So it teaches us that there's a flow even to the types of energy that's associated with us. The type of, it gives us examples, right? Of, and it just says lack to bring wealth. That it equates lack to sickness. So more specifically in this verse, it talks about removing sickness, the sickness of lack, and bringing in abundance. Oh, well, and Oyeku Torapon, remember, Ahemi, Asomi, I'm sorry, Asomi, Ahemi, Dilfun Yangan. Right? Teen Lora Okoko Leru. Remember, talk about the stream. So the corn was beefing with the river, with the stream, with the water. It shows that everybody needs water. That no one can mistreat water. So if we 75% water, right? If we 75% water, then in a sense, we can't be mistreated. It's not possible. Is that the thing that will help us to overcome challenges is already inside of us. The way that the water overcame the corn thought that the river would be the slave to the corn. The river showed the necessity and might of water, the power of the water. It can't be controlled. The river, it's possible that the river will overflow its banks, will rise above its banks. What does that tell us about emotion? We equate water with emotion as well, right? What does that tell us about emotion? That if our emotions are not checked, then they can be destructive. Emotions are good as long as it stays in its place. Asomi, Ahemi, Diafun Yanga, Tin Lorao Koleru, Okoti, Ogboyan Sebo, Iropo, Irofa, Ayan Ori, Okoko, Ojoni, Biting Be Yangan Jail. Warren on the right and Obara on the left. Warren Palaba Ipabo, Dia Fun Oluweri, Timbe Larin Ota, Ebony Wanikawase, Osi Bebo, Nibe Orubo, and J. Anykan Ki, Bomi Sote, Anykan Ki, Bomi Sota. Again, we all need water. It's a need. It's a need. How can you be jealous or envious of something that you need? It talks about it in the first line of the verse, emotion, right? The thing that swirls around and around. Awaram Palaba Ipabo. It swirls around and around. It looks one way on the top and another way on the bottom. The emotions or the things that we feel internally, right? The emotions and the emotions that we feel internally, like some of us wear it on our face. Some of the actions that we take, some of the decisions that we make are a direct result from emotion. The thing that's not seen. So when one acts out, when one behaves well, when one does anything, we can see we can see the manifestation of the thing that's internal, the thing that's hidden, emotion. Ifa's declaration to Oluweri, the owner of the water, or the owner of, or the essence of water. So when we can take all these verses, right? And we can look at water as emotion, and it tells us a particular sentiment that we should have. From Warren Wesse, it shows us that we should have a change in sentiment. We should have a change because we washed the head. There should be a change in the way where our head is at. It's saying, hey man, where you at right now? You need to wash that off. You need to let that go. By the act of doing it, right? By us taking the steps, washing our head, praying, discarding of whatever we need to discard of, doing what the things we need to do is an act of removing the things from our head so that when we finish, that our head is in a different place. That we go from seeing the glass as half empty to seeing the glass as half full. Because it tells us that the river is going to take these things to the ocean. It's going to take these things away. Ore, yeah, yo. So when it removes these things, when we take the step to remove these things, that our headspace, our focus the things that we attract should be different based on the energy that we are invoking. If y'all have any questions, please put them in the chat. Aiku Lola will go through those. By simply washing your head, you change your energy. Those things are removed from us. Awarren Olobara. It tells us in the verse, Awarren Palaba Ipabo Diafun Oluweri. So it's talking about the current, right? The current, the thing we see on the top and the current under, right? Ifa's declaration to the essence of water when in the midst of enemies. And Oyeku Oturapon, it tells us, right, about the dynamic between the corn and the water. Right? Water doesn't really have any enemy, but it's needed by everyone and everything. We know that from Oshe Torah, right? And Awarren Olobara, the current, right? The emotion is what placed the person, us, anyone. Emotion will place us in challenges. So sometimes we may be torn between our emotions that's hidden, right? And the things we see, right? Sometimes we may feel a certain way about something that we see. This Ifa tells us that sometimes, right, we have to be mindful that the thing that we see is not necessarily the way that it is. This can cause challenges for us on a personal level. Not realizing something when it's time. Not moving when it's time. Right? Moving when you shouldn't. Speaking when you shouldn't. To keep our waters in check. Sometimes the undercurrent, right? That kills one in the river. It has a way of consuming or controlling the person that eventually can lead them to the upper room. We're not trying to go to the upper room before time. We're not trying to bring death to anything before it's time. Ebo ni wani koase, osi bebo, ni bel rubo. Questions, anybody? Deuce, any questions? Omo Awo? Deuce. Egbe Funke, any questions?
Hey, I do got a question, Baba.
Okay.
Can you go to the last part when you were like, keeping our waters in check, and you were giving that when you say when not to speak, when not to move. I think that's the only two I taught them.
So I just wanted to give you examples, right, of times when we need to keep those waters in check.
Nah, I want them examples, Baba.
So if water is emotion, right? Sometimes we have these urges, right? We want to go somewhere. Ifa tell us cast Ifa before travel. It's not a problem with the thing that we want to do. It's just about how we doing it, right? There's all types of questions that we can ask about surrounding travel. Is there an offering that we need to make? Is there any information that Ifa want to give us? Is it a time that we need to leave? Right? All these things are surrounding the thing that we trying to do. All we know is we have the urge, we have the desire. That's emotion. Energy and motion. We move to do this feeling, this inclination, right, is moving us to do a certain thing. We're supposed to go here, or we're supposed to go there, or we're supposed to do this, or we're supposed to do that, right? We have these inclinations. Ifa's not telling us that it's wrong to feel a certain way. It's quite the opposite. But it's about, from these three verses, it's about putting things in a proper perspective, right? And understanding the ramifications, right, of any decision that we make. So if one is led by emotion, right, spouses, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband and wife, whatever. The relationship can be ruined based on urges. What's the reason that relationships break up? There's like two main reasons, but they're all based off emotion. One is infidelity. Which is based off of urge, right? It's based off energy and attraction that's felt. One begins to rationalize how they feel, and they take steps to act it out. So if they arguing, if things are not well, if one isn't getting the required attention or reaction or response here, they go somewhere else. Or instead of fighting physically about it, they do other things to act out. Water. Emotion. If there's a physical challenge going on between spouses, how does that start? Again, through emotion. Water. So how can we apply the wisdom for any of these verses, right? How can we apply the wisdom of any of these verses, to that? So it shows us, one, that sometimes our feelings are just our feelings. The corn had a desire to dominate the water. When it comes to our opinions in relationships, sometimes our opinions, we try to dominate. We use the way we see things to dominate the other spouse's opinion, feelings. Arguments, right? Disagreements. one will use some triggering things in the midst of an argument. It's not controlling the water, not controlling one's energy. Instead of saying, okay, you know what? It's time for a head wash. We need a change in perspective. We seeing things in the negative. We must change our Ori. Ise Ori Rami is what the line says. The work my Ori has given me, I must do. A lot of the things we do have to change. We have to change in the head. What's located in the head? Ears. So the way we hear, we have changed that, right? Because that's work of the head. The way we see things, right? The way we see things, that's work of the head. The way we say things, right? That's work of the head. That's work of the head. So it's telling us, right, to change the way we use our head in order to bring about abundance. Right? The 3 L's, right? Look, listen, and learn. All these things are work of the head. We have to hear and understand very well. Using our third eye sometime above our 2 eyes. It's for all y'all people that wear glasses. I know y'all like that. This is why we get E5, right? This is why we get E5. They're gonna tell you better cut it out. Okay, now you IE Kulola. I don't know which one you are from time to time. We're gonna have to judge who you are based on your emojis. Owaran Olobara, Owaran Palaba Ipabo. How many of y'all done went hard, but you didn't go too hard on something? How many of y'all done said, oh, let me calm down? We're trying to bring a balance between the currents that are underneath and the top of the water. We're trying to make it more stable, more calm, right? Sometimes we are the ones that we're fighting with. Sometimes we're the one fighting with ourselves about the correct response. Is what I'm feeling, is my response, is my response equated to the thing that's going on? Am I seeing the thing correctly to develop the correct response? It's very important. Because this type of coolness, this added coolness, right? This added coolness will bring long life to whatever we got going on. We won't destroy it. The water or emotion that we have will not destroy anything in our life. The corn signifies prosperity. In Oyeku Oturapon, right? We have taboos because the corn signifies wealth because of its ability to reproduce. One kernel of corn can produce a corn stalk that has 800 to 1,000 kernels of corn on it. So it's prosperity. So the corn was like, oh, I'm gonna get you. The river was like, nah, you not. You know, my folk make sure all your kids don't grow. The river completely saturated the area with emotion. So emotion has a way of destroying one's prosperity. So in the verse, Osi Bebo Nibe and Rubo, they offered the bow on the spot. There was an immediate change. Even in this Odu, in Owanra Olobara, there was an immediate change to the circumstance because the Ebo, the advice was followed instantly. How many people life changed just with the reading? Not everybody. I'm just saying that should be everybody. Everybody life changed with the reading. So y'all ain't following y'all taboos to people who ain't raised their hand. You didn't receive clarification, confirmation, enlightenment. Nothing was illuminated for you when you had your reading. Even if it was confirmation on something you was already experiencing. It's telling you that the universe support, Oludumare support, your destiny support, Ifa support, the Orisha and the Rumale support this action. That's change. It's the acknowledgement of the change. And a woman, Olobara, it go from turbulent, choppy water, emotion, into an understanding that ain't nobody doing nothing to you. Ain't nobody doing nothing to you. It's just the way things are. It's hard sometimes to understand how destiny works. And that certain things happen in order to challenge you. That's the point. It's the point. Did I answer your question, Deuce?
For sure.
Ashe. Say Ashe, Baba.
Ashe.
Ashe has more power than for sure. But they both have power. Irreconcilable differences. So that is a refusal to bring one's emotions in check, to calm the waters. Who wants to be at an impasse with anyone? Who wants to work somewhere and decide one day they're not following the rules? Who wants to do a thing and decide one day that I don't want to do that anymore. I mean, things happen, right? We talk about with like major life events. Some of the things that we experience, we don't know at the time they major life events. Think about it. There's no balance in emotion. There's no balance in the water, right? It's not fear that we should have, but respect, right? It comes with clarity. How can we invest in something, right? We pour energy, emotion, right, into something, right? But then be immovable on others. We have truly not, in that instance, we haven't truly learned the process, the alchemy. Remember, like water can take on any form. We're talking about true shape shifting. We're talking about true shape shifting. Water can hold any shape, form. So our emotions we can control them too. It's just energy. All of us are utilizing this energy in one form or another. Water. We bless the water. We sprinkle the water. We wash our car. We wash our clothes. We cook with it. We drink it. We bathe with it. We do all types of things with water. But we miss the true essence of the water, right? That it shapeshifts. It changes its form depending on its use. The same should be true for our sentiment. I'm not saying, listen, there's taking out certain standing principles and ideology of, but from situation to situation, we should be able to change. Egbe Funke should not stress me that I take it out on Ifawumi. Ifawumi should not cuss at her Baba, so I take it out on LaShonda. I shouldn't even take the joy that I get from LaShonda and place it on Ogundeji. Within limits, right? Within limits. But we should move from place to place. We can't move water from place to place and it keep the same shape. The emotions that we take from place to place, when it's in a negative, should not take the same shape. Even in the positive, there's different degrees. Ashe? Ashe? Questions, anybody? Oops, somebody got one. Egun told, was there any questions? Oh, if a woman said she at work.
No questions on YouTube either yet, Baba.
Ashe. Ashe, Ashe. So I think with that, I'm gonna end the live stream. Aburu Boya Boshi.